Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar, Entrepreneurial Mindset 101. I am your host for this webinar series, Dr. J. Fulgencio. So thank you all for coming or attending this webinar session. And for those of you who could not attend, this is being recorded so you can later watch it, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can watch future webinars and, of course, watch the recording of this. So today we're talking about the entrepreneurial mindset for the 21st century. In this webinar, I am not talking about how to start, how to launch a startup company, how to start a business, how to build a mindset to build a business or be part of a startup to launch one, or ideas for a launch for a startup. That's not for this webinar. At a later time, I will do one for startups, but not for this one. We're specifically talking about individuals, whether in the business world, nonprofit, or education, who want to build an entrepreneurial mindset or learn about what an entrepreneurial mindset is for the 21st century. And so that's what this webinar is focused for. So if you were looking for a webinar about how to launch a venture, stay with this webinar because you may learn a thing or two, or just stay with us. But of course, if you're looking for that, that'll be at a later time. So again, welcome, and let's get this thing started. So just who am I? I'm Dr. J. Fulgencio. I'm a scholar. I've published, researched, mostly in the education world. I'm an educator, so I've been teaching for 10 plus years now, mostly in higher education with topics including entrepreneurship, American federal government, and others. I'm also a certified practitioner of the entrepreneurial mindset. The entrepreneurial mindset profile is an assessment tool that examines the skills and capabilities to drive growth and innovation. So the EMP, which stands for the entrepreneurial mindset profile, looks at 7 personality skills and 7 skills. So I'll talk about that later at the end about that. And of course, the entrepreneurial mindset, I'm also an entrepreneurial mindset program facilitator. Net is based on, so it's inspired by the book Who Owns the Ice House? 8 Life Sessions from an Unlikely Entrepreneur, which is a companion to this program, which is an experiential problem-based learning program designed to inspire and engage participants with the determination and perseverance of an entrepreneurial mindset. I also have a master's in entrepreneurship from Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes. And of course, during that time, I also launched my own startup company. Was part of a startup company, and I have experience with startups as well. And of course, also in the for-profit and nonprofit sector. So I have a variety of experiences which helped me build my entrepreneurial mindset, both being in startups and non-startup world, right? So through my, working for people and then on my own, I've built that entrepreneurial mindset, which is what I'm going to talk about. I'm also here have a link to my webpage, and I'm also going to share this presentation in the video in the end so you can get this information as well. So a little enough about myself. Just what we're going to talk about, the agenda, so you know what we're going to talk about this webinar. Again, we're defining entrepreneurial mindset. We're going to talk about the 21st century and going to combine that together in my final thoughts. Again, we're talking about the entrepreneur mindset in the 21st century for those folks who want to learn more about what it means, because you may even have it already. So let's get started. So defining entrepreneurial mindset, what in the world is that word? You may have heard it. You may have never heard of it. Maybe this is the first time. Maybe this is many times you've heard about it. So I'm just going to give you a definition of what that means. And my definition is not the end all be all of what it means, right? So to break it down, right, how do you define entrepreneurial mindset? So in your own thoughts, in wherever you're at right now, hopefully, if you're driving, continue driving, don't stop. or don't pull out your phone and start writing. But how do you define entrepreneurial mindset? Think about that. When you hear that word, how do you define that in your own words? So to break it down, right, what is mindset, right? Mindset is established set of attitudes, frame of mind, person's worldview, right? And that in the gist is what a mindset is. It's your own personal, how you see, how you have your world, and how you envision your world, right? Your attitude, your beliefs, your philosophy in life, right? That's the mindset of one, right? Entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship, just like mindset, is a very broad definition. If you type in entrepreneurship, what is entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship 101 on Google or Bing or some other search engine, right? There's going to be thousands of entrepreneurship definitions, right? In this sense, we're just going to quickly define entrepreneurship. And what is it? It's creating value where there was no value before. Process of developing and running a business with financial risk, right? So that's, in a sense, entrepreneurship. You're creating value where there was no value before. So let's combine both these words, right? The mindset and entrepreneurship, and come up with the entrepreneurial mindset in this sense, right? And so there are various definitions of entrepreneurial mindset out there, right? And I'm just going to highlight a few of them, right? So it's a combination of traits and skills enabled to identify opportunity, foresee and overcome challenges in the business and non-business context. The state of mind drawn towards opportunities, innovation, and new value creation, right? So the inclination to discover, develop, and exploit opportunities. As you can see here from these definitions, the one word that probably comes out, try to think about one word that comes out of all these definitions. Think about it, right? It's opportunities, right? Entrepreneurial mindset is about opportunities, right? And how to overcome those challenges that come with it. How do I see an opportunity that lays in front of me, right? Entrepreneurial mindset is not about finding, it's not about complaining about problems. It's about finding solutions, finding opportunities, overcoming those challenges, having that innovation to overcome those, right? You may have that entrepreneurial mindset in you already. You just probably didn't think about it, right? In your job right now, whether you're for profit or nonprofit, right? Or in the education world, you may be the person that comes up with opportunities laying in front of you. One of the biggest challenges that we had in the most recent time for everybody was this whole COVID pandemic for the last 2 years or so, from 2000, 2001, right? A little bit of part of 2022, but not much, right? There was a lot of challenges in our, that we were facing. And for those that had the entrepreneurial mindset, we're looking at opportunities, right? How do we go forward? Well, online classes or doing this and doing that, right? Finding those opportunities. So again, if you don't have an entrepreneurial mindset, you'd be like, well, I don't know about that. Or, you will eventually build it. You already have one. How do you keep building on top of that? Because in the 21st century, it is critical to build an entrepreneurial mindset. Now, I do want to reiterate, building an entrepreneurial mindset, or if you have one already, doesn't necessarily always mean that you're ready to go start a startup company, right? Or go launch your own business or small business, whatever it may be. Because that is a whole different animal. That's a whole different world, a whole different galaxy that you have to think about and you have to come into fruition with. You can have an entrepreneurial mindset in your own workplace, come up with opportunities, come up with ideas how to move forward. That is perfectly fine. You can have that because you'll go home happy at the end of the day at 5 o'clock or every time you clock out, and and you have a paycheck at the end of the week or every 2 weeks or whatever time period you get paid, and you're good with that. Having your own launch up, starting your own business, you don't know if you're going to get a paycheck or not. And you're going to have to put in a lot of more hours. So that's a whole completely different world. So in the context, again, we're focusing on building the entrepreneurial mindset for an individual, right? When you identify opportunities, exploit opportunities and discover and evaluate. So what are the characteristics of the entrepreneurial mindset? So some of the characteristics of the entrepreneurial mindset include determination, perseverance, drive to achieve, opportunity orientation, persistent problem solving, not a problem person, but persistent problem solving. How do we solve this problem? There's a problem in front of us. How do we solve this problem? Now, let me come up, let's find a problem and let me come up with 10 more problems to add on top of that, right? Or the naysayer. That's not what entrepreneur mindset is about, right? Having a vision, passion, and having a bit of independence to find these solutions, because you're going to have independence, right? To have an entrepreneurial mindset, right? You can't always be held by someone or being held to find these solutions, right? So it's very important to understand these characteristics of the entrepreneurial mindset. Again, you have to have that drive to achieve. If you meet any person who has this entrepreneurial mindset, they always have the drive to achieve. They always look for opportunities that lay in front of them. Seeking feedback is another important critical one, right? How can I get better? Right? I may have failed at this, but how can I learn from my failure? Right? And so that is some of the things that you have to think about as the characteristics of the entrepreneurial mindset. Again, you may already have these characteristics. You just probably didn't know, and that's totally fine. It's just, and if you don't have these characteristics, it doesn't mean that the world is ending for you. No, you can build these characteristics. You just have to put forth the effort into it. So now that we've looked at the entrepreneurial mindset, let's look at what in the world the 21st century is. I'm not going to give a whole definition about this because this could be a topic of its own. But when we're looking at the entrepreneurial mindset in the 21st century, what are we looking at, right? The 21st century, it is believed to be the fourth industrial revolution, right? It's a more informed side. We are more informed than we could ever think about. I mean, think about yourself. Your cell phone, your smartphone right now, right? Your smartphone, and you're probably holding one right now, or you're probably looking at it as I'm speaking, right? Has so much information. You can Google or Bing almost anything you wanted to know about, and you can get it in your instant quick hands right here, right? We are extremely informed, so much so that we have too much information that we don't know what to process, right? There's so much software, the internet, robotics, and the cloud, not the physical cloud that you can see with your eyes and the blue skies up there. We're talking about the cloud system, storage systems, right? Global networking. We are having a global network more than any time period before. We don't have to send Morse code to folks out in Europe or across the continent to get in contact with them. Just a few weeks ago, if you look at my YouTube channel, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, Paul Coyle from the Entrepreneurial Mindset Network, who's out in Europe. We had a webinar session about the entrepreneurial mindset in Europe, and that's global network. And we haven't met in person yet as of this recording. And we hope to do one day meet in person, but that's global. That's the power of global networking. We can global network with anybody right now with the technology in our fingertips. New forms of entertainment, right? Before, back in the ancient days, you had to go watch a Shakespeare play in person. Now you can do it online. You don't have to go in person anymore. There's different forms of entertainment, of course. Video, paintball, go-kart racing, whatever it may be. There's lots of new forms of entertainment. Communication, kind of spoke about that already, right? Cell phones, computers, email, just the new whole forms of communication, texting, through WhatsApp or regular text messaging, right? Adoption of technological solutions to reduce dependence on labor. More and more so as we continue, we're starting to see less independence on physical labor and more dependence on technology solutions. It used to be back in the day, there used to be an elevator person. You walked into an elevator, that person would take you to a floor. That doesn't happen anymore. Look at parking lots nowadays. Here in the United States, for example, when I go to downtown, Chicago or elsewhere across the country, right? The parking lots are now, machine run, right? There's really no person. There's some very minimal parking lots that still have an individual there, but for the most part, it's all by machines and so on and so on. We can think of other jobs that are being taken over by technology, right? And so that is what's going on in the 21st century. And so in order to succeed in the 21st century, you have to have that entrepreneurial mindset, overcoming challenges and seeing opportunities, because your boss or your management team, or if you're in management, they're going to want you to find those opportunities that the challenges bring ahead. Job skills for the 21st century. You think about, the job skills are changing for the 21st century, right? Yet soft skills will continue. There's no doubt about that. You're still gonna have to have a covered conversation. And that's a challenge right now because people like to text each other and talk to each other nowadays. But you still need soft skills, collaboration, communication. I think communication is a very important part. Sometimes we do a good job of it. We don't. How many times have you read an email and you're thinking, "Oh crap, did this person yell at me? This person talk down to me?" Right? And we're still working on that, problem solving, and of course, learning basic reading still in the communication and math skills. We still need those skills. So, they still need those important critical skills for the 21st century. So, how to succeed in the 21st century, right? How do I succeed in the 21st century with this whole, changing dynamics of the world, right? Of course, education is a big part. Now, you don't have to go get a PhD. You may not have to go get a master's, but depending on the environment that you're in, right? If you are in education, especially higher education, without a PhD, you're only going to go so far. But in other parts of the world or other parts of careers, you don't need a PhD. You can go get a certificate from your local community college or some type of training, and you can go make lots and lots and lots of money as a welder, electrician, and so on. So you're gonna have to obtain some type of education, whether it's skills, whether it's training, right, at a community college or a trade school or higher education. But you're gonna need some type of education, right, in order to succeed in the 21st century. You're going to have have some skills training. Again, we're living in a system where things are a lot of cloud based, whether you're going to probably need a Salesforce training, form stack training, H5P, coding, Python, JavaScript, whatever it is, you're going to need some type of skills training to be successful in this century. Occupational information for career, again, you're going to need to start your career map because jobs are ever changing, right? One day you have a job, the next day a company took it over, and you got to go find one, right? And so again, always be obtaining education and always upgrade your skills. So how to go about the entrepreneurial mindset, right? As we kind of looked at the defining of the entrepreneurial mindset, what it means to be in the 21st century, right? Now we're closing out with how to go about it. So again, for those of you who already, think about, oh, I already have an entrepreneurial mindset. For those of you who didn't know about that, right? So tips when implementing your own entrepreneurial mindset, right? Learn about it, right? That's one of the first things. And I'm going to provide some resources where you can learn about the entrepreneurial mindset. I think that's one of the important things. Read about it. I mean, go watch some videos. I do provide a video on entrepreneurial mindset in Europe, even though it's focused most on Europe. We do talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. So go watch that video. I do provide some content on this on my YouTube channel and other YouTube channels. And you can just type it in and of course, Google it. Think of solutions and not problems, right? One of the things about building the entrepreneur mindset or how to implement your own is like you have to think about solutions. What solutions can we come together? Of course, but not problems. My dad would always tell me this is solutions for everything with the exception of death. That's a little extreme comment to say, but there's always solutions to problems. There's always a solution. Just think about the solutions more so than the problem. Write down your goals with the plan. I think one of the biggest things about when you're implementing entrepreneurial mindset or want to build an entrepreneurial mindset is that you have to write down your goals or goal and have a plan with that goal, right? For example, say you want to lose 10 pounds, right? Okay, that's your goal, but how are you going to achieve that goal, losing 10 pounds, right? And you're going to write out your plan. I'm going to lose 10 pounds by the end of 2022 by December 31st of 2022. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to reduce my calorie intake of junk food, processed foods. I'm not going to go out to eat. I'm going to reduce my outtake of food from eating out from 5 days to 2 days. I'm going to drink at least a gallon of water. I'm going to go to the gym at least 3 times a day. And when I'm at the gym, I'm going to, do cardio one day, weightlift the other. And, you get the gist of what I'm saying, right? So again, write down your goal and have a plan with that. Face your fears. I think one of the things about having an entrepreneurial mindset and building one is you have to face your fears. We all have fears. I'm still scared of speaking in public, but I face it, right? I still face that fear, right? Face that fear, whatever it is, speaking in public, taking initiative, taking leadership initiative at your job, speaking out when needs to be spoken out. Of course, be careful with that. When you're speaking out, know when to speak out, right? Because there are certain things that should be, spoken out about, but be careful with that. But of course, again, face your fears. Embrace failure as a learning opportunity. A lot of times we look at failure as the end of the times, right? When you have an entrepreneur mindset, you're going to fail. Like to everybody has failed. Even the richest people on earth have failed at something, or they failed at things. Believe me, they have. You read their autobiographies, they'll say in their autobiographies, I failed at this, right? Or I did this. I mean, look at Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men on earth, having run the Amazon empire. Do you remember the Amazon phone? Complete failure. Did it stop him? No. He had, the dreams of having, those, what do you call it? I can't think of drones, deliver your Amazon packages. I don't think that's coming into fruition. And then if you recall, if you pay close attention, there was one time where he wanted to have access inside your home and put your Amazon packages inside your home. That was a complete failure. No one was going to allow Amazon to come in their home and put the packages inside. Again, embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Don't look at failure as something's like, oh, like the world's ending. No, embrace failure as a learning opportunity. So here's some resources. The Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship has a section on entrepreneurial mindset. So check it out, especially for those of you in the K-12 world, whether you're educated in that world. And of course, not K-12 educators, you can look at that. Entrepreneurship Learning Initiative. That's, of course, with the Ice House. The Entrepreneurial Mindset Profile website. That's, of course, the EMP, the assessment that I talked about. The Entrepreneurial Mindset Academy, check that out. It has amazing resources. The website is still being built, but of course, check that out. And of course, the Entrepreneurial Mindset Network. That's a great opportunity for resources. And so just some final thoughts as we wrap up this webinar, right? I highly encourage you to learn about the entrepreneur mindset from the resources that I provided. I think it's very important to learn about that. So to learn about the entrepreneur mindset, just, I don't encourage you to go read 10 books on it unless you want to, but at least, go read some resources, go read some stuff, or go watch a video on it. If you want to continue that, I highly encourage you to take the Entrepreneurial Mindset Profile Assessment today. You can contact me and we can get started on that assessment. It's a really great, I highly encourage you to take the assessment. It really does, again, it measures, it looks at your personality skills and your skills. So we look at each one of those scales. We look at 7 traits. And I highly encourage you to take that assessment. Or if you want me to host an Ice House entrepreneurship program or your organization, definitely can get involved. Shoot me an email, and get in contact with me to get that started. But the first thing I highly encourage is, of course, to go read up about it. So you can go on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter at jphd18. Follow me. Again, you can direct message me again if you want to take the assessment, if you want to bring an Ice House program to your organization. If you have any questions, you can reach out that way to me. You can also visit my website at the bottom there, jfulgencio.com. Also visit the Entrepreneurial Mindset Academy. And so that is definitely a way to reach out to me. I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and there will be more coming. So make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel to find the next webinar. Make sure you follow me. And of course, I'll be posting more information on the next Entrepreneurial Mindset webinar. So enjoy the rest of your day. If you're at lunch, enjoy the rest of your lunch. And I hope you had a wonderful time listening to this entrepreneurial mindset in the 21st century. Thank you. This is Dr. J, and I'll see you guys next time.